So in this episode, we're going to talk about the brake kit, and this is a fairly common kit apparently. Way back in the day when I used to build a lot of CRXs, a brake kit that I worked on, I'll show you right here. If you look at this episode of Turbo Magazine, a super ancient magazine, the CRX that is in there, we built a brake kit, and this was one of the first ones. This brake kit was a GSR caliper and a Volkswagen Carrara rotor that had to be kind of modified. Apparently that is now a pretty common kit now, but that was the first one that we ever did. And of course I did a few others on my own personal CRX. This here, I'm going to show you all the details, but we're doing GSR rotors and calipers in the back. In the front, this is, again, common to some people, but for you guys that don't know, that is an Integra Type R caliper and a Mini Cooper rotor. Trying to give you an idea how smooth these are. These are what makes the car. This is why I wanted OEM rubber, because it's an OEM feeling car. There is more shake from the torque of the engine revving if I rev it quick than actually vibration itself. Not that there's a lot of torque, but there's enough torque to make the engine shake a little bit. But again, just trying to kind of share my excitement with you. Welcome to episode 9 of the CRX build. Hopefully it's not dragging on too long for you. One of the reasons I like to break my episodes up is for you guys that are following along and doing maybe some of the things that we do and picking up ideas on the way. These wheels Steve purchased just before he passed and texted me a picture and said, "What do you think?" And I said, well, I kind of like white on white, but for some reason I'm not a big fan of that wheel on the CRX, and he kind of said, yeah, I'm not sure either. They might not be staying. So out here, you've probably seen George's car. This is the one that he refers to as Uncle Ray. We're going to use the white wheels and put on here. We're a big believer of keeping it in the family, parts-wise, car-wise. When we say family, the LHT family. A white car, and I think white wheels would look good. George likes the look of the wheels, and I'm like, well, let's do it. As you've seen, these have been shaved. Steve had some Mugen wheels on here as well as some HX wheels at one point. GSR rotors and calipers require shaving, which is mainly this area on the bracket. I'm thinking I want to go red. I think the white car with the red calipers, and obviously the rotors will repaint this or powder coat this on the new ones, make it look nice. I think it's going to be a good look. Obviously this is all good. We need to adjust the camber and alignment. So here we are. George is already swapping wheels. He's not messing around. So this is like a bonus because you're getting paid to work on your own car again, George.
That's not too bad.
Can't be that bad, can it?
You know what? I'll do the same for you.
That suits that car better than it does the CRX.
Oh yeah? I gotta get back to look.
Yeah, I like it.
Oh yeah, they look great.
You know all it needs now?
A lot.
that wasn't what I was gonna say. So the S2000 bags are almost sold out. We have about 3 left in red, and I think the black are all sold out. So all you guys, go ahead and post what you think about them. I think they're fantastic. I mean, not just the fact that you got a little bit more storage, but it's something cool for your S2000. It's just kind of like an accessory you didn't know was available. These, as far as we know, are 91 Civic EX brake. The back is some kind of weird hybrid thing that he put together.
Well, the pads are going to be the same for the, I believe, the S2000 RSX EP3 Type R. And I think these are GSR calipers because they're the 7 CLP13. So that's going to be like a GSR or a DA, any of those.
Yeah.
But I think this is off of like an EP3 or a Type R or RSX.
Is take one side off, and we have a known GSR trailing arm, rotor, and caliper. Trailing arms won't work at a CRX because of the offset. But we are pretty sure that the rotor and caliper should bolt on. So these are just to mock up and make sure it fits. Always a good idea before you buy brand new parts and get parts powder coated and all that good stuff, just to find out they sit on the shelf. The idler was making a noise. Turned out the bearing was bad right here. And to our amazement, it's the same bearing as the idler pulley and tensioner for the S2000, which we replace a lot. We sell it in the store, and we sell a ton of these. The bearing's $10. It's a Nachi bearing. You press it in the same way as you would on the S2000, but this is your B-Series tensioner for the AC. It's probably going to be the same for the D-Series too, but that will save you a bunch of money because this pulley is more than likely not available anymore. So yes, check engine light is off. This is what it turned out to be. This is the connector that was plugging into the O2 sensor. You can't quite see this, but there is a little tab on there that holds the pin, and the tab is broke, so when you push these two together, it pushes one of the pins out and loses connection. So pretty simple fix, but put a new plug on there. That way we don't have that problem again. So now we have lock and unlock, and again OE locks, which is so nice. George just spent a good portion of the day fixing the wiring, so good job, George. The wiring looked a little terrible, even though Steve was one of the best techs. He didn't spend the most time on his own car, nothing was labeled, and he just kind of did it however, so it took a bit more time, but making some good progress. The brakes should be here in the next day or so. We're going to show you the brakes, which is going to be a massive improvement from these right here. Thanks, Alexander, for the Starbucks coffee. Much appreciated. So a whole bunch of banana stands going out. Every single one sold out. I did do a pre-order. So for the people that kept texting me and saying, hey, I missed out, we're doing a pre-order, and I'm going to order more material, and it's going to take about a week and a half to get them built and shipped to you. So go ahead and buy it in the store, and we'll ship them to you as fast as we can. Let me show you what's going on today. You might have seen this on the channel in the past. Alexander, I'm going to give you some love right here. So check him out. Loy's Productions. This car is one of my favorites. I know I say that a lot, but this really is. Something about Grand Prix White anyway. He's come from Miami here several times. We're going to do a valve adjustment on this car. He don't know yet, but because he keeps making the trip, he's such a good customer, he's not going to get a bill. He don't know that yet. What are you watching?
Some videos on YouTube.
Watching YouTube videos, but she's going to start helping pack in the store, and we have a car that we're going to do later. So if you're, it's not going to be on this video, it's be a separate video, but we're going to work on our red S2000. You're going to help, right? How come you're not at school today?
Because yesterday was the last day of school and I had a half day, so today I have no school.
No school today. This is one of those things that I've been wanting to do, and I kept kind of going back and forth, and I decided to go, yeah, let's do it. What do you think? So I kind of designed it, and I'd pat the stripe guy, clean it up, and then obviously make it. But I wanted to let everyone know this is a V8 truck. It's pretty special. It's the only 2020 that's been done, as far as I know. It's definitely the first. I wait to let people know how special it is, so then if they see it and they kind of do a quick Google, and you know, they'll find our channel and they can see some of the other cool stuff we do. No badges anywhere else, just the Colorado V8. A lot of pickup trucks have the logo there. This used to have the Z71 right there, and of course we have a little one on the back right there. Quick tip on your valve adjustment: we go by factory specs, but we go on the looser side. Reason is obviously a lot more heat. Turbos, the exhaust will be hotter, obviously more expansion on the valve and all the related parts will tighten up your gap over here, which is the valve lash, which is why we run it on the looser side. It's better to be loose than tight. I'd much rather hear a little bit of valve noise than a super quiet motor, because it means it's being put together a little tight. And tight valves, when you lose the air gap here, that means the valve won't fully close, and that will cause misfires, cause burnt valves. It damages the seat, damages the valves, causes all kinds of problems. So run your valves slightly loose. This is our favorite detail supply company, by the way. If you're not using this stuff, you should give it a shot. I almost want to renew the Tycon badge. It has a full titanium exhaust as well as a titanium roll bar, hence why we have the Tycon sticker on there. They did sponsor it, so want to give them some love and show them what we're doing with it. Always look at upgrading your master cylinder. This is the master cylinder right here. This is basically pushing fluid to the calipers. The difference being the bigger caliper requires more fluid volume, so when you press the brake pedal, you end up with more travel to fill up the calipers to actually activate them than on the smaller calipers. This is a really common master cylinder of the CRX. This is from the 90 to 91 Civic EX. It's a 15/16. That is in relation to the bore. Think of this as like a syringe. When you press a syringe like this, you're pressing fluid through here, filling up the brake calipers, activate the brakes. The bore, imagine the cylinder being larger. When you press it the same distance, you get more volume. Hence why you need a bigger master. The Integra Type R has a 1-inch. This is 15/16, so think as that as 1/16 of an inch less than the Type R, but it's a bolt-on. The lines fit, you don't have to modify the lines. You can put a Type R master on there and modify the lines. It's not a big deal, but this is much, much easier and works very well. We did confirm the calipers and rotors fit. These have to be dremeled out just a little bit for the GSR calipers to fit. It's not a whole lot, but we wanted to make sure it does work so we can confirm that. The trailing arms are from a CRX, the brackets do work, but like I said, this has to be dremeled out to make that caliper fit perfect, but the offset is good. These caps came from eBay. Not a big fan of the cozy caps that look kind of goofy. Wanted the Honda cap. These are silver. Again, 20 bucks on eBay. I'll see if I can find the listing, and if I do, I'll link it, but kind of one of those little things that finishes the car off. The rotors arrived. The ones that came off it were off a 9091 Civic EX 10 1/4, same as GSR. The ones we're putting on are 2007 Mini. They are 4 lug. The bore sizing is correct, but they don't have the countersink drilled like the factory one does. So we're going to go ahead and drill that. Best way to do this is use your factory one as a template, bolt it on, use the right size drill to drill it. Then you can put a dimple in there. Then you can drill all the way through on your drill press. Then you can countersink it. Now you have plenty of room for your countersink to go in there. It's going to be flush. That'll hold it on between wheel changes. These are the Type R calipers. I mean, it's a massive difference. Look at that. Look how beautiful they look. You see we've got the Allens in there and the bracket fits perfect. So you do trim a little bit of the back heat shield right there. This is just a straight up and down. Now there is a little bit of information on different pads on here. There is a TSX pad you can use or a Type R pad. Now I'm going to show you the difference here because we have both.
So they look pretty similar, but if you can see, line that up there, that lays down a little lower than the other one.
So that pad positions this in here a little different. So let's show you them side by side. We'll do one then the next.
This is the TSX pad.
So this one comes all the way to the inside, and it leaves us about a 2mm gap right there on the outside. So these are the Platinum CarQuest brand. So the OEM ones might be different. The reason we went with these is, one, they're more accessible, and two, we can get every variation of pad and line them all up and see which one we like, because we have a good friend at the store. There's the Type R. As you see, that one comes all the way to the outside. It leaves that slight gap on the inside, which is pretty much what you would see on a factory brake. So I think looking at that, let's go with the Type R pads. And we're going to have the same kind of look as the back. Let's show you the back real quick. It's got the same look. You see that small gap on the inside? And it comes all the way to the outside. You can't see on this because I've already put the caliper on there, but it has the same look. So we're going to go with that because it's going to match the front. And I think that's more of an OEM look and contact for the brake rotor. So I'm definitely going to have to get some lug nuts. These are what came on the car, and I never got some new ones. These are chrome that are painted black. They don't really do it justice. So that's probably next on my shopping list. What an improvement. Look at that. Look how much tidier that looks. And that brake really feels up that wheel. So lug nuts are going to be next. If there's a lug nut you guys like, go ahead and comment below. I haven't bought aftermarket lug nuts in a long time. Can't wait to see this thing on the ground now. Let's go ahead and check out the back. Look how tight the back one is. But that's perfect. We had a bent caliper or the bent bracket before, and it used to drag on the back. We've got to drive it now and set the brakes. We did go ahead and bleed it and flush it through with some nice synthetic DOT4 fluid. It looks good. I'm kind of debating whether to lower it a little bit more. The 50-year-old guy in me says that this is pretty good. It looks lowered and it's going to be usable and drivable. Tons of ground clearance. The bar is the lowest thing, so if I'm going to hit anything, I'm going to hit that on a bump stop. But I'm not going to ground it out. I'm not going to wreck the header. So I'm kind of thinking maybe another ½ inch. It needs to be lowered a little bit more. Then we're going to talk about alignment. Well, before we do alignment, we'll just eyeball it, use strings and mirrors the old-fashioned way, get it close, brake in the clutch, and get it on the dyno. But it's really close. Realistically, it's braking the brakes, braking the clutch, the dyno tune it, put on the hood. Still got to charge the AC. I got to borrow the friend's pump to suck it down and make sure it's sealed and clean. Then we can recharge it. Got to put basically the windshield wipers on, and that is it. Once it's finished dyno tuning, I'm going to send it over to Billy at Presidential. He's going to go ahead and give it some love. The paint is old. We did have Sean kind of give it a spruce up, but I think once Billy gets a hold of it, he has passion for these things. Check out his channel, Presidential Detail. He has a really nice EF with a K motor that he tracks. He embarrasses Porsches and BMWs and Corvettes in that thing. Car looks fantastic. It's extremely fast. He's extremely fast. Wait till you see what he does with this, but I mean, this is looking good, and it's very, very OEM plus, I would say. The exhaust tip, still debating whether to change that to a slightly smaller one. We have some LHT 3.5-inch slash cut tips in the store. I might put one of those on it, but so far it's good. The OEM door locks are working with the alarm like they should do. The power windows, we fixed those. We have the vent to put back in here. The one last thing I have to source is this A-pillar plastic cover right here. It had gauges on there. This is drilled, and again, this was drilled probably 15 years ago when this was very accessible. Now things like this are getting kind of scarce. I need to source one of these. If you know of one, let me know. Left hand side, A-pillar plastic. Other than that, we're pretty good. We're in good shape. Hopefully you're enjoying the series. If you are, give it a big thumbs up. Remind you, October 8th, the Dragon trip. This is a great opportunity for you to meet 350 plus Honda enthusiasts, get to drive the tail of the Dragon, and a whole bunch of surrounding roads. It's not just the Dragon. A lot of people think that once you get there, there is this one squiggly road and that's it. There is hundreds of miles of nice countryside sweeping roads. In my opinion, the Dragon is kind of like that tourist thing that you've got to do it. You've got to go to Deal's Gap and go buy your t-shirts and that kind of stuff. But all of the surrounding roads, there is so much beautiful countryside. Bring your friend, bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, bring your guy from work that never really is into cars, but he's kind of into cars. You're going to get there and see so many cars like this, and a whole lot more, and you'll realize that this is a passion-based hobby. There is so many people into this, and they're not the 18-year-old kids like it was when I started. Now you're going to see 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old guys driving around in Hondas. This is essentially the new muscle car. The muscle car era, how it went kind of crazy. People started paying 100 grand for an old beat-up Camaro and restoring it. This is what it's turned into. So don't be afraid there's going to be a parking lot full of kids doing burnouts. The people that have to drive that distance to get to that meet, these are enthusiasts. You're going to meet some of the best people you've ever met in your life and probably make some long-time friends. So I'll see you there October 8th. I always said at the end of the video, don't forget, hit the subscribe button. It does help us grow, helps people find our channel, and eventually the channel will pay for more cool projects. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Don't forget, enjoy your car.